In the heart of the Appalachian Mountains, where the mist clung to the valleys like whispered secrets and the ancient trees stood sentinel against the passage of time, lived a woman named Elara. Her hair, the color of raven's wings, cascaded down her back, and her eyes, as deep and green as the forest undergrowth, held the wisdom of generations. Elara was a weaver of tales, a keeper of the old ways, and a whisperer to the wind, her voice carrying the echoes of the American folktales that had been passed down through her family for centuries. Her cabin, nestled deep within a secluded hollow, was a haven for weary travelers and curious souls alike. The walls, lined with hand-spun tapestries depicting scenes of mythical creatures and legendary heroes, hummed with an almost palpable energy. The air was thick with the scent of woodsmoke, dried herbs, and the sweet, earthy aroma of the mountain itself. One crisp autumn evening, as the first frost painted the leaves in hues of gold and crimson, a young man named Silas arrived at Elara's doorstep. He was a wanderer, a seeker of truth, his heart heavy with the weight of the world and his mind filled with unanswered questions. He had heard whispers of Elara's wisdom, of her ability to unravel the mysteries of the old stories, and he had journeyed far to seek her counsel. Elara welcomed him with a warm smile and a steaming mug of wild berry tea. As they sat by the crackling fire, Silas poured out his troubles, his voice filled with a mixture of despair and longing. He spoke of the modern world, of its coldness and its lack of magic, of the way the old stories seemed to have faded into mere shadows of their former selves. Elara listened patiently, her eyes filled with understanding. When Silas had finished, she leaned forward, her voice a low, soothing melody. "The old stories," she began, "are not gone, Silas. They are woven into the very fabric of this land, into the rustling leaves, the flowing rivers, and the whispering winds. They are the echoes of our ancestors, the lessons they learned, the trials they faced, and the magic they discovered." She reached for a worn leather-bound book from a shelf near the fire. "Let me tell you a story," she said, her voice filled with a gentle power. "A story of a time when the land was young and the magic was strong." And so she began to weave her tale, her voice filling the cabin with the vibrant tapestry of American folktales. In the days when the world was still being shaped, there lived a giant named Paul Bunyan. He was a man of immense strength and boundless energy, his footsteps shaking the earth and his laughter echoing through the mountains. With his trusty blue ox, Babe, he roamed the vast wilderness, carving out the landscapes we know today. One day, Paul and Babe came upon a mighty river, its waters raging and untamed. Paul, with a twinkle in his eye, decided to tame the river, to make it flow smoothly and peacefully. He grabbed his axe, a tool as large as a small house, and began to chop down the trees that lined the riverbanks. With each swing, the trees fell like matchsticks, and the river began to calm. But as Paul worked, he noticed a strange creature lurking in the depths of the river. It was a creature of immense size and power, with scales as hard as steel and eyes that glowed like embers. It was the fearsome hodag, a beast that had terrorized the land for centuries. Paul, never one to back down from a challenge, faced the hodag with a roar that shook the very foundations of the earth. The battle was fierce and long, the ground trembling with the force of their blows. But in the end, Paul's strength and courage prevailed, and he vanquished the hodag, freeing the river from its reign of terror. And so, the river flowed peacefully, a testament to Paul Bunyan's might and his unwavering spirit. The land rejoiced, and the people sang his praises, for he had brought peace and prosperity to their lives. Elara paused, her eyes twinkling in the firelight. "Paul Bunyan," she said, "represents the spirit of the American pioneer, the strength and determination that built this nation. He reminds us that even the most daunting challenges can be overcome with courage and perseverance." She then told Silas of John Henry, the steel-driving man, a figure of incredible strength and unwavering dedication. "John Henry," she said, "was a symbol of the working man, of the power of human spirit to triumph over adversity. He faced the challenge of the steam-powered hammer, a machine that threatened to replace the labor of men, and he met it with his own strength and skill. He challenged the machine to a race, a contest of man versus machine, and he drove his steel hammer with such force that the mountains themselves seemed to tremble. He won the race, proving that the human spirit, the will to overcome, was more powerful than any machine. But in his victory, he gave his life, his heart bursting from the strain. John Henry's story is a reminder that even in the face of overwhelming odds, we must never give up on our dreams, on our beliefs, on our own abilities. His sacrifice is a testament to the power of the human spirit, a spirit that cannot be broken, even by death itself. Elara then spoke of Pecos Bill, the cowboy who tamed the Wild West, a man as wild and untamed as the land he roamed. Pecos Bill, she said, was a legend, a myth, a symbol of the freedom and adventure that defined the American frontier. He rode a cyclone, lassoed a tornado, and even rode a mountain lion as if it were a gentle horse. He was a master of the lasso, a sharpshooter, and a skilled rider, his skills as vast as the open plains. He could tame any wild creature, from the fiercest mustang to the most stubborn steer. His stories are filled with humor and exaggeration, a reflection of the tall tales that were spun around the campfire, tales that celebrated the spirit of the cowboy, the courage, the resilience, and the sense of adventure that drove them to explore and conquer the vast wilderness. As the night deepened, Elara's stories continued, each one a thread in the rich tapestry of American folk tales. She spoke of Davy Crockett, the king of the wild frontier, a man of courage and integrity, a symbol of the American spirit of independence. She told of Johnny Appleseed, the gentle wanderer who planted apple trees across the land, a symbol of generosity and the connection between man and nature. She recounted the tales of the wily Bear Rabbit, the trickster who outsmarted his larger and stronger adversaries, a symbol of wit and resourcefulness. She told of the legends of the native tribes, of the stories of the creation of the world, of the spirits that inhabited the land, of the lessons learned from the animals and the plants, of the deep connection between humans and the natural world. She spoke of the stories of the Cherokee, the Navajo, the Sioux, and many other tribes, each with their own unique traditions and beliefs, each contributing to the rich tapestry of American folklore. She spoke of the legends of the sea, of the tales of pirates and shipwrecks, of the mysteries of the deep, of the mermaids and sea monsters that lurked beneath the waves. She told of the stories of the sailors who braved the treacherous oceans, of their courage and their resilience, of their encounters with the unknown. As the first rays of dawn began to paint the sky with hues of pink and orange, Elara's voice finally fell silent. Silas, his eyes wide with wonder, sat in awestruck silence, his heart filled with the magic of the stories he had heard. The old stories, Elara said, her voice soft and gentle, are not just tales of the past. They are mirrors that reflect our own lives, our own struggles, our own dreams. They teach us about courage, about resilience, about the importance of community and the connection to nature. They remind us that even in the darkest of times, there is always hope, there is always magic, there is always the power of the human spirit. Silas, his heart filled with a newfound understanding, thanked Elara for her wisdom and her kindness. He knew that he would carry the stories she had told him in his heart, that they would guide him on his journey, that they would help him to find his own path in the world. As he stepped out of the cabin and into the crisp morning air, he looked back at Elara, her figure silhouetted against the warm glow of the fire. He knew that he had found not just a storyteller, but a keeper of the flame, a guardian of the old ways, a true whisperer to the wind. And he knew that the American folktales, the stories of the land, would continue to live on, carried on the breath of the wind, whispered through the trees, and echoed in the hearts of those who listened.